My name is Kelly Kristin Jones, and my exhibition at 062 called We Forgot the Moon While Holding Up the Sun is part of a long-term examination of racist monuments and markers across the U.S. I first started photographing historical monuments in 2015, and while these monuments are perhaps the most obvious aesthetic affront to a society aspiring towards equity, such public statuary doesn't act alone in asserting whiteness on the built landscape. Within our highly racialized United States, classical architecture and antiquities signal whiteness. They've always done this in our country. They were introduced to do this in our country. In addition to marking sites of authority, like courthouses and universities, white columns and copies of ancient objects have long characterized the white domestic space. First used by plantation owners in the South, this emulation of a Greco-Roman culture was exploited by wealthy white people to distinguish themselves from the enslaved African people forced to serve them and the indigenous peoples whose land they took over. Such racially coded markers, disguised as architectural aesthetics, continue to appear in and around modern-day homes across the Midwest, where I'm from. I see them on front porches, in entryways, and in private gardens, large and small. At 062, Orders of Empire is an installation of white, decorative, neoclassical columns that I've collected from the homes of suburban white women. Largely made of inexpensive materials, these columns were sourced from estate sales, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, eBay, and this pile will continue to grow over the course of the exhibition. Now, my practice is primarily photo-based, and I work with a large range of photographic techniques to address these monuments to whiteness. I play with the language of photographic production, and actions like spot healing, masking, and layering all become part of the subject of the work, instead of just a hidden darkroom or digital tool for edits. It's this flexibility, this slipperiness of photography's physical and conceptual range that allows for a renegotiation of both myth and medium. Also on view at 062 is an untitled series of photographs made at night documenting on-site interventions that I performed in private gardens across the suburban Chicago landscape. These black and white moonlit images, made without the owner's permission, feature racially charged markers and monuments that I've hidden from the camera with cut paper prints placed on top of and around the objects before photographing. I'm a feminist revisionist. I use my own whiteness, my own privilege to make photographs, curate collections, and build installations that demand space for new histories. In reshaping our broken landscape, I want to offer, if only for a few seconds, and if only for the camera, a place for potential, a space for something else.